the young 20-year-old Ida Scudder hears the sound of funeral drums only to find out that all three women whom she refused to help as she was not qualified to be a doctor died in child delivery. That eventful night caused a deep impression in her that she resolved to go back to the United States, finish her medical studies, and come back to work among the poor and diseased in India. This eventually led to the formation of the iconic Christian Medical College in Vellore, and it stands a witness to the calling of one lady. But did it all start that night? Or was it years in the making in the hands of the sovereign creator? Rewind to the year 1793. John Scudder is born in New York as the second of 12 children. He finished his medical degree in 1815 from the College of Physicians in New York. Young as he was, at the age of 25, he was one of the finest doctors in America, earning more than $2,000 a year. One night, as he was visiting a patient in New York, John Scudder's attention was caught by the title of a pamphlet lying on the table. The Conversations of the World, or the Claims of 600 Million, and the Ability and the Duty of the Churches respecting them. He read through it. Then, why doesn't someone do something about this? He asked himself. And immediately the reply flashed into his consciousness, why shouldn't I? This at that moment to him was the voice of God. He bowed his head and asked, what wilt thou have me to do? Again came that flash. Go heal the sick and preach the gospel to those who have never heard of Christ. John Scudder consulted about this with his wife. They had a 2-year-old daughter, Maria. After weeks of prayer, she told him, whither thou goest, I will go. On the 8th of June, 1819, 26-year-old Dr. John Scudder boarded the ship Indus along with his wife, Mrs. Harriet Scudder, and daughter Maria. Like the patriarch Abraham, they went forth to a land they had not yet seen with no thought of return. After 4 months of journey, they reached Calcutta and spent time with the pioneer missionary William Carey. They spent time to learn from him about the missionary life in India. While in Calcutta, little Maria was stricken with dysentery and died within 3 days. They set out to Ceylon to reach Jaffna, where Dr. John Scudder established his first dispensary. However, in Ceylon, their second daughter, who was born, died soon after birth. Dr. John Scudder would lose 2 more children in the process of working as missionaries in India, but their commitment to work and relationship with God made a deep impression in the lives of the remaining 9 children. After finishing higher education in the United States, every child returned back to India to work as missionaries. 5 of them ended up being doctors. The Scudders adopted 16 boys and 3 more girls and educated them. Little did he know that one of his descendants would establish a world-renowned hospital in that same place. After John Scudder went to be with the Lord, his children continued the work in India by joining the Arcot mission. The influence of their parents was so strong that they continued to bring up the next generation in the fear of God and with a heart to work for the heathen. One of his 7 children was Dr. John Scudder Jr. Dr. Ida Scudder was born in this family. Over 100 years after her grandfather stood in the same spot on a hill, dreaming of a dozen laborers, Ida Scudder climbed that same hill, panting from her swift climb, sweat pouring down her face. Today, Christian Medical College in Vellore treats over 2 million people from all over the world every year and employs 8,000 people. So, Did it all start that night? No, it was years in the making. Thanks to the commitment of one man, Dr. John Scudder, in the 18th century, 42 of his descendants went to full-time ministry, and the fruit of their labor is helping millions every year. What about your family? Where do you fit in? Are you part of a glorious genealogy, now continuing in God's work? Or are you on the brink of starting a generation to be used by God? History tells it is possible. The God of the Bible tells us it is possible. Yes, one family touched, generations touched.